Okay, we're gonna see how it goes because it's raining outside, lighting's not great, etc. But hi, my name is Rachel. I am a second-year historian at the University of York, and welcome to what I hope will become something regular, where I show you all my crafty stuff and hopefully a little history, hence the name, the Crafty Historian. So today it's mainly knitting because I've suddenly got on a complete knitting kick, all the yarn and things like that. So I guess thank you for coming and saying hi. Hopefully you stick around, and let's get on to it. Starting with some finished objects. I actually knitted my first pair of socks this week. Look at them! Aren't they beautiful? They are basically, I made it up as I went along. Got 16 rows of rib at the top, a short row heel and a rounded toe, and it turned out really well. Yeah, and I love this wool. This is Opal Cotton Premium in the coral colourway. It's 38% wool, 32% polyamide and 30% cotton. So it's so soft and squishy, and it's just so nice. I got the wool actually from an ex-boyfriend, and at the time I looked at it and thought, oh, I don't knit with, I was knitting mainly with DK weight and this was far too thin. But Amy from the Stranded podcast, say hi Amy, hopefully you're watching this, she inspired me to try knitting socks because she knits so many amazing socks. If you haven't seen her, go on, she does some gorgeous things, and we will be discussing Amy a little bit later. So I tried knitting a pair of socks and it worked, and now everybody wants a pair of socks. which is cool. I love knitting for other people. I know some people don't, but if they're people who appreciate it and they know the sort of time it takes, people like my family, my friends, they are aware of how much work and effort goes into it, then I'm happy to knit them for Christmas presents. And these socks took next to no time at all. I cast the second sock on Sunday and was finished by Wednesday. In terms of knitting projects, I think that's pretty good. So these took me about 2 weeks, and only because I was packing to come back to York, and yeah, I'm so happy. My next finished object, I actually finished, the only thing I had to finish was sewing up the join, and this is my Philly Horseshoe lace headband, which is a pattern by Tracy Tran, and I actually knitted it on holiday in Mexico. You can see there the beautiful patterning, but I knitted it in Mexico as sort of holiday knitting, and it's great. I really love it. I plan on wearing it to lecture theatres because I've got a 9 AM lecture in a medieval monastery. It's going to be freezing, absolutely freezing. So, and it's rude to wear a hat indoors, but we can get away with these. So I might be making some more headbands because I really enjoyed knitting this one. You can see that this actually is the same wool. It's a DK acrylic, but it's the same wool I knitted my very first jumper out of. So it just feels special. Everything matches. So yeah. So that's 2 finished objects. I've also got 2 whips going on. They're both jumpers. Both jumpers for people for Christmas. So, the one that I've been working on the most, because I started it in June, on and off, is my friend Emma's. So Emma, if you're watching, look away now. Now. Look away. I'm looking at you. Look away. I don't know if she watches, but she might, and she does. I don't want her to have spoilers. But it's got a collar. And it's got an E. So I've done the front, the back of the body, the neckline. I've done 1 sleeve. And I'm in the middle of knitting the second. It's just so easy. I love stocking stitch. It's just, I can sit there very easily knitting, watching something like podcasts on YouTube. What's more inspiring that? Or one of my box sets. I have a lot of box sets. They're great knitting because I've watched them all before. You just sit there knitting away. Knit 1 row, purl 1 row. This takes a bit more concentration because you're decreasing every 4th row, but not that much. And I really hope to get this done pretty soon. I was scared that I wasn't going to get a jumper finished for Christmas, and I may get 2. So I'm really happy, and she'll be really happy as well. So this is Emma's Weasley jumper. It's knitted out of DK Special Style Craft in the colourway Petrol. It is 100% acrylic, but I'm a student. I do not have the budget to buy good wool. Well, not a jumper's quantity at least. And this is from my gorgeous book. Sorry, that was a knitting needle. Charm Knits. So, Charm Knits, and it's the Alison Hansel Weasley sweater pattern. I'm really enjoying it. I love this book so much. It was the first knitting book I bought, and it was the first pattern I ever followed. I made myself a Ravenclaw scarf because Ravenclaw, whip beyond measure. And then they've actually got some really pretty socks in here as well. So I might try at a later date. Some broomstick socks. Don't they look amazing? But more about that later. My second whip. Sorry, metal knitting needles. This is the start of a Velo jumper for my sister. It's knitted again in Style Craft Special acrylic, but this time in Aran weight in the colour Burgundy. The pattern is Velo by Jutta Steffi. I'll link everything below if I remember. And it's knitting up so quickly. It's a real frog in my throat. It's a really simple pattern. You knit 6 rows of rib and then 94 rows of stocking stitch and cast off. That's your front. Same for the back. And then sleeves you do some increasing, but not much. She doesn't want the stars on the elbows. But I started this on Wednesday night. It's Friday currently. I knitted 2 rows yesterday. Knitted in front of the Great British Bake Off with my friend Grace. So Grace, if you're watching, hi. Yeah. Surprisingly quick. Surprisingly quick. I think it's because it's a chunky weight and it feels great. It feels so squishy. It's knits up to such a good fabric. So she'd better wear it. My sister is notorious for not wearing anything that I knit her. But she chose the wool. She chose the pattern. She'd better wear it. If she doesn't, I'm never knitting her something again. Which is sad because I like knitting things for her. Sisters. Now, that's all that I've got going at the moment. I've got a few projects I want to cast on. I want to cast on another pair of socks. I want to try the vanilla latte pattern. I printed it off before I left for university. So I really want to give that a try with some more 4-ply that someone gifted to me, just so I can get used to it before I go on to my stash acquisitions, because they're much nicer. But more of that later. My next segment is about sewing, but because I forgot my pincushion at home, because I'm clever like that, I don't actually have much. What I do have with me are some of my felt heart decorations. I haven't made any of these this week, but I have tried having an Etsy shop and it just wasn't very successful. So at the moment I just make them and they sit in my box and I wait until I have a friend who hasn't received one yet, because most of my friends have had one. Yeah. But if you're interested, I do custom orders, or I'd like to know if anyone's interested. Give me a shout. My little sewing box. And that's all the sewing I've got this week. Same really goes for scrapbooking. Because I came back on Saturday, most of my time has been spent organising or doing all this knitting. So I haven't actually done much scrapbooking this time round, but I have lots of projects in the work. I've got lots of pages I want to make, but also I've got a few collaborations that I'm working on, so hopefully you'll see some of those in the very near future. So yeah, that's pretty much all my crafty stuff at the moment. It's not much, but hopefully once I've settled back in a bit more, we'll get a bit more. I just realised you can see the reflection of my note paper in my glasses. Sorry. So now, on to acquisitions. I'm not allowed to buy any more yarn, which is so sad, but I cannot afford it. And I bought 4 socks worth of yarn. Yeah, I'm gonna use them, obviously. So I went into town, into York. I went to a lovely shop called Knit and Stitch, and I bought 2 balls each of these Serdar Snuggly ones, because they are soft and squidgy and relatively cheap. I am a cheapskate, but you know. 2 of these are the Baby Fair Isle, so they're the Snuggly Crofter ones. They haven't got really colourway names, they're numbers, but this one is 0152, and it's a lovely blue, grey and white sort of Fair Isle. It says it knits up to a Fair Isle effect. As long as it's variegated, I don't really mind. I've got it in 151, which is more of a purple and blue and white. And because these are 50-gram balls, I had to get 2 of each, just so you can knit some beautiful socks like that. I might try, no, these will probably be simple ones so that the effect comes through. But this one, this gorgeous green, it's the shade 0462. I don't know what these numbers mean. I might try a Hermione's Everyday sock with this. They are, all of them are 55% nylon, 45% acrylic. And they're baby wool actually, but it means they're soft. They're not flammable. They should knit up really nicely, and I'm really looking forward to them. They look amazing. I just hope they live up to my expectations. And then I went around the corner to Ramshambles, which is on the Shambles. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous knitting shop. It's all wool based. So a lot of it has wool content in. There's lots of local yarn. It is, because there's a lot of wool, it can be quite scratchy. But I did find a King Cole zigzag, which was 50% wool, 50% nylon. So it's a bit softer. And this is in the shade 808. And it's red, white and blue. And I'm gonna knit my mummy some socks out of this one. It's perfect. She will love it. They're the perfect colours. I can't wait to see how this works up. Isn't it gorgeous? And I know they're all... Ooh, someone's got a mattress. Sorry, they're doing refurbishments to one of the other blocks. I want a new mattress. Tangent. Mum's socks. I can't wait to knit them up for her. I know she will love them. But she's mother. She loves whatever I make her. So yeah, I bought a lot of yarn. And I still want to buy more, but more off of Etsy. There are some beautiful things. But that's later. And lastly, but on a slightly different tone, sorry, had to reach to the end of the desk. I got a beautiful, beautiful gift from Amy, as I mentioned earlier, of the Stranded Dyeworks podcast. She has her Etsy, which is Stranded Dyeworks. She sent me a beautiful skein of street art on her Oasis fingering weight for free. How amazing is that? She is an absolutely wonderful person. Can you see that? Look at all of those colours. It's gorgeous. And it's so soft. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 4-ply. And this is really the reason why I started knitting socks. I wanted to be able to do this wool justice. I want to have practice so that I make the perfect pair of socks before I use this. It's just so gorgeous, and Amy was so kind. Go and check her out on Etsy. Check out her podcast. She's amazing, and she's so nice as well. I love it. I love it. It's just, oh. I really want to do this wool justice. I'm really sorry. My voice is just at the moment. Ugh. So that's what I've got at the moment. And I'd like to put a section in here, which is called In My Dreams. It sounds really airy-fairy, but it's basically what I'm lusting after. So, going back to my lovely book, I want to knit all of the things in here. I mentioned that I wanted to knit the broomstick socks. I would love also to knit... I have knit the mini jumpers before. Come on. I should have put page markers in. It's not like I'm short on a few. Oh, they've also got house socks. How gorgeous are they? Pair of Ravenclaw ones. All the Ravenclaw things, all the time. Mittens! Yes! I knitted a scarf. Oh, Quidditch socks. Don't they look amazing? It's the Quidditch jumper. I would love to knit a Quidditch jumper. Blue, silver, Quidditch jumper. Perfection. They're like £60. I can't afford that. They look amazing. They look so snuggly and warm. It is... What is it? It is... worsted. I don't know what that is in British. Could be a DK or an Aaron. I'd also love to try the invisibility shawl. Look at that pattern. Isn't that beautiful? But I'm really... that's another thing I really would like to try, is a very basic beginner lace shawl pattern. So if anyone's got any ideas, please let me know. Any Ravelry recommendations. Yeah. I'd like to stick a wool in here that every week that if I do this every week. I hope I do this every week. It's quite fun. I sound like I'm talking to myself, but I don't care. I do that anyway. Random. In my dreams, I would love to own a skein of Norah George yarns. She is on Etsy. She does amazing things. And at the moment, I am completely in love with her history colourway. History student, how amazing would it be to walk in with a pair of hand-knitted socks in the history colourway? I love the russets, the greens, the pinks. It's... her colours are beautiful. I adore them. They just look so gorgeous. Yeah. But I'm not allowed to buy anything. I'm not. I give you authority to tell me off if I buy anything else. And then one of my last sort of crafty segments is, well, I'd like to put in something that's not ask me anything, but help me, where I ask you questions and you can help me. So the first one is going back to that lace shawl. Any recommendations for a nice beginner pattern? Only a skein or two, preferably DK. I've got plenty of DK wool to be going on with. Just so I can practice and pick up a few new stitches. For example, I only learned how to properly do a slip slip knit decrease this week. I have been knitting for 5 years, since I was 15. I taught myself. All my decreases have been knit two together or bind off. Hi guys, sorry, the camera cut off. Apparently I have no storage even though I have 49.5 gigabytes free. iPhone logic. So, help me is shawl advice. And then, secondly, what do I do with the skein? How do I work it up so I can knit? I am bemused, so any help would be fabulous. This is the end of the knitting stuff, so if you don't want to venture into a little bit of history, it'll only be a couple of minutes, then thank you for watching. I am Rachel Ravenclaw on Ravelry, Ravenclaw Rachel on Instagram, and I'd love to hear what you think. So if you don't want to stick around for a few minutes of history on York, bye, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, hopefully. So yes, here's your mini history lesson about York. York was originally a Roman city, founded about the AD 60s, 70s, and they called it Iberacum. It was home to the northernmost legion. We've still got some of the fortress walls standing in the Multangular Tower. I actually did my very first research project at university on the Romans in York, which was so amazing. They were the northernmost legion and they were able to support Hadrian's Wall when they needed it. And there were 2 roads, so they could go to either side of the wall and help. The legions were the 6th and the 9th. I think the 9th was first, but they got lost in the 2nd century, so the 6th replaced them. The Romans withdrew, I think, about the 5th century. Constantine was declared emperor in York in AD 310, so I think it was another century before the Romans withdrew. And then the Vikings invaded later and named it Jorvik, which is where the name York comes from. And fun fact, the Jorvik were the Viking word for road is gate, and the word for gate is bar. So that's why all the York roads are called things like Walmgate or Gillygate or Petersgate. It's because of the Vikings, and all our gates and entrances of the city walls are called bars, like Bootham Bar, Walmgate Bar, Monk's Bar. Fun fact! York remained central throughout the medieval times with the Archbishop of York. It was a key part in the War of the Roses, but I'll probably include that in a different video because I really like the War of the Roses. It's one of my niche subjects. All the way up to when the railways were built, because it's a major railway interchange, York actually grew more than it should have done. In terms of city, it was rather backwards until it was created a railway interchange, in which case expansion. York was also the original chocolate city. It housed both Rowntrees and Terrys, and if the wind is still in the right direction, you can smell chocolate. It's amazing. So we had the Rowntrees and the Terrys factories, the huge works on sorting out working conditions for the poor. Yeah, York is steeped with history, and that's why it's so amazing to study here. If you're looking for just a place to immerse yourself, we have such good history around here. We've got the walls you can walk, we've got museums, we've got a replica of Victorian Street, which I volunteer on as a costumed volunteer. So if you see me decked out in Victorian gear, hat, apron, ankle-length skirts, come and say hi. I don't know which days I'm working yet. I need to go through my training. We've got, as I said, the Multangular Tower. The Minster is beautiful. We've also got Guy Fawkes' hanging place, I think. King's Manor, which is where my lectures will be. Yay! Actually, I played host to Henry VIII. It's amazing. I thoroughly recommend coming and visiting York. It's got amazing history. Yay! So I hope you enjoyed this first episode. I enjoyed making it. And happy knitting, happy scrapping if you're a scrapbooker, happy sewing if you're a sewer, and happy history if you're a historian. If you're one of my friends and you come and see her out of pity, thank you very much. If not, thank you anybody who I don't know. Hopefully we can be friends. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.